All right. Okay, well, I guess it's time to start the stream. So today is an episode of Dr. Haydo, and we're going to be discussing first aid. Hello, K9. I hope you're ready for some expert level doctor's opinions and advice. First, we gotta gear up for it, and then we'll be ready. Today's episode of Dr. Haydo, I will be drinking my own special reserve. It's beer I've been brewing myself. So let's pop open one of these and start talking about first aid. Cheers. All right. Oh, my windows were showing. So first aid is probably one of the most important things to have a general grasp on if you are the first one to arrive to some kind of accident. It's always good to have some sort of first aid knowledge, so you'll be able to help out on the scene. So we're going to go over the main types of first aid. I got about 5 of them to go through with you. And I'll also be showing some videos that show the proper usage of these first aid techniques in action. So one of the first things, if you come across a wound, a very big wound, you'll want to cauterize it. So cauterization, you take heat and you stamp it directly into whatever the wound was, and it's a great way to help people right off the bat. So it's quite easy to do, and cauterizing is actually one of the lowest forms of alchemy. So all you have to do, even on the spot, you can just carve a summoning circle right into your hand, and you'll be ready to go with the cauterization techniques. So one word of advice I gotta say is that you can dry out your skin quite a bit from cauterizing. So make sure that you also that you moisturize daily after this. It's gonna be a while. So let's just show you this video here. This is the proper technique.
Such a sad and weak creature. Another typical human.
Stand up, Lieutenant. You need to get out of here.
Do you want me to kill you first? Oh my. It appears you've opened the portal. Such a shame. You
may recognize this scene.
Listen, Alphonse. Leave me and save yourself.
No.
Trying to build a suspense and like a climax to show you proper first aid, because everyone knows that you don't just get hurt. There's a way you got hurt. So this is kind of leading up to how they're gonna deal with this first aid situation.
Well spoken. I couldn't agree more. Looks like I can get you on your knees after all.
Here's our guy.
He's using the flint for ignition, and he carved a transmutation circle into his hand.
His name's Chevrolet.
You should have bled to death by now.
Tacoma, General Tacoma.
I came close to passing out from the pain.
And as you can see, he has a big wound on his side there, but he cauterized it.
You told me I couldn't kill you, but I'd like to try and prove you wrong. So let's see, how many times is it gonna take?
One thing to keep in mind with first aid is a lot of it's improvisational, and you're not going to have a whole lot of time to react. So any way you can, help somebody, the better. If you look at him cauterize that entire human being, homunculus.
You killed me. I hate losing. But there are worse ways to die than at the hands of a man like you. I love how cold and focused your eyes are. I look forward to the day when those eyes will be wide with agony.
Look at that. Cauterized her to dust. It's great. This is when when it goes too far. Okay. So as I mentioned, you're going to want to moisturize after you do some kind of cauterization like that. But it's pretty easy as far as alchemy goes compared to making soul stones or anything like that. So very basic form of alchemy there. Now, our next first aid that we're going to be talking about is what to do in a toxic environment. Let's say, you got poisoned somehow. Any kind of venom. We're looking for a way to cure that right off the bat. So we're going to go all the way to reality television for our next clip. And they're going to show us what to do when you've poisoned yourself and what you can do to help others if they have been, toxified or something has happened to them like that. So I'm going to roll the clip here. So as you can see, he really hurt his hand on some poisonous sea urchins there.
Embedded about 12 sea urchin needles in my fingers.
Those suckers want to deep. I gotta go back in. I gotta get somebody to pee on it.
Is that supposed to be what you're supposed to do for that kind of venomous sting from a sea urchin? Is to urinate on it. It's supposed to help with the swelling and the pain.
I need somebody who has to pee.
So as we can see here, peeing on a wound, it might help.
Somebody can pee.
So if you got a full bladder, be the hero. Put it to good use.
So it just was good timing that I had the bathroom.
I don't care who cares. Just okay. I don't know where my head is.
I would go so far as to say, analyze the situation and take this decision into your own hands. Just go ahead, might as well pee on somebody. It's not going to hurt them more than it's going to help them. This is Survivor. This is early Survivor.
Finally, when I think I was pulling up my pants, I suddenly got very mad.
What a hero. That Kathy, she really urinated on that man. That was fantastic. Okay. Yeah. So next time, you're just walking around and you feel the urge to use the restroom, remember, you could save somebody with that. Just remember where it's going. Now, this next form of first aid is it's a nice one. It's circumstantial, but it's widely known as the walk it off technique, where if you hurt yourself, just walk it off. Let's walk it off. Let's just show some of this first aid in action. Let's show you a clip of somebody walking it off here. So there you go. As you can see, this guy he busted his arm pretty hard. Skateboarders, they really live and die by the board. As you can see, it's like he's got an extra elbow now. But he's doing a great job at walking it off. Do you see this? Let's rewind it. You see this nice circle, this semicircle he's walking around in? He really knows how to walk it off. I'm sure that is helping him before any other help arrives. This is good first aid techniques.
Dude, it hurts, but you know what?
Of course, there's a fisheye lens on it because it's a skateboard video.
No, someone's board hit me though.
Yeah, ooh. Now he's doing the sit it down approach, not as good as the walk it off approach. Remember, walk it off first and foremost.
Left or right?
Okay. So, yeah, that was a nasty one, but he walked it off, and that's first aid number 1 right there. On the topic of walking it off, let's show you another video, and this is an improper time to be walking it off. So you can see this man's in a boxing match. He goes for the kick. It lands. He tries to walk this off, and he falls. You can walk it off when it's a broken arm. See, this is the circumstantial part. Only some appendages are able to be walked off like that. I'm going to give it to you again. Watch it right there. And then, ooh, yeah, he's not walking that off. He's hitting the ground hard. So, you know, as far as first aid goes, this one's a little bit more circumstantial than the peeing one. I think that you can urinate on anybody and it'll probably help. But this situation, All right. And okay, so this next one that I want to talk about with you is probably one of the better forms of first aid that you can do, in all honesty. So in this situation, if you see someone or you yourself are injured, you can pick up the phone and you can dial 911. And dialing 911 is actually a very effective form of first aid. It's going to help you. It's very effective in cell phone service, that is. You know, and it also, there's the side effect that it can make you go bankrupt if you live in America. So dialing 911, it's risky, but it is an excellent form of first aid. And just a little nugget of information for you. If you do not have a cell phone plan, but you have a cell phone, you are, by law, by the FCC, it is required to be able to contact 911 operatives and in thus turn emergency service and support. So even if you don't have, if you're not paying Verizon $60 a month or whatever, you can still dial 911. This means that your little brother can use your old phone to prank call EMTs whenever he wants. He doesn't even need the cell phone plan. So make sure you remember that, new parents and older siblings, when you give your old phone to a toddler, they'll be able to call EMTs and hang out with them and make one of those funny fail videos anytime they want. So it's good. Now for this next one, I think we need to talk a little bit about blunt traumas. Let's say, you know, it's not a gashed open wound, so you can't cauterize it, and walking it off just isn't seeming to work. This next one, which the boxer should have done, this form of first aid is great for you. So this next form of first aid is just a good old ice pack and a shot of alcohol. It's a great combo for blunt trauma. The point here is to go numb. So 99% of blunt trauma happens at parties with an overabundance of hard liquor anyways, so being able to find a shot of liquor and an ice pack is probably going to be easy if you have incurred blunt trauma anyways. But there's one good thing about this form is if it doesn't work at first, just keep increasing the dosage. And if you don't even have an ice pack, just double down on the alcohol. You will go numb eventually. There is always that threshold, that ceiling that you will hit. So if there's no ice pack, just an extra shot glass is going to work just as good as an ice pack. Okay. Now, this is going to be my last bit of advice for all of you first aid responders out there. Now, this is first aid for animals. So, your typical first aid for your childhood pet should cost about 8 cents, or $29.99 for a box about 500 rounds. You want to make sure you apply this kind of first aid to your pet outside because it can get a bit messy. Now, I don't know who out there has 500 pets, but you could always save the rest of that first aid for yourself after calling an ambulance, and going bankrupt from hospital bills isn't your cup of tea. I'm going to show you a very precise form of this first aid right here. It's from an old 1957 film, and it's good first aid for pets. It's a good example. Let's just watch that. Hope you learned a little thing about first aid, a little thing or two about first aid. Thanks for coming into my office, and be well.